Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of the Ventthis podcast. You guys, we have a very special episode today because I'm going to remember to say the title, which I often don't. You can't forget this one. This episode is number 67. It's titled, My Tongue Hurts After That. And I got to tell you, I didn't write that title, and I'm as intrigued as you are if we can keep this PG-13. That sounds very provocative. Anyway, I'm your host, Paul Roseberry, joined by the lovely
Christine.
With enthusiasm, with the thunder. I love it.
Yeah. No, I was going to say something, but I'm going to save my story for when in a minute. I have a story.
You know what? And Chris, I do want to clarify. When I tease that you say your voice so quietly, I know you will go nuts during the episode. You are crouching host, hidden tiger. That's who you are. What do they say about the winter? Or no, maybe it goes out like it comes in like a lamb, leaves like a lion. I think it goes the other way. I don't know. But that's Chrissy.
That's right.
That's Chrissy.
Yeah.
I like to come in full throttle. Chrissy comes in just waiting for the right time. That's what she does.
I just sort of wait for my moment and then I pounce.
Like a sniper.
Yeah.
Chrissy, so you got a little something. You got something on the mind. You said a little cute something about your neighborhood or something. Like, what's cooking in Chrissy land?
Yeah. Thanks, Paul. I just want to mention, because it really made a difference to me. So every day in my neighborhood, there's a couple. I would imagine they're in their late 70s, could be even early 80s. They ride their bikes, huh?
Okay, nothing.
Yeah. They ride their bikes, they have their helmets on, and they have a basket. Both bikes have baskets with their Maltese dogs. And they also have helmets on, the dogs.
Wow.
And it's the most adorable thing you could imagine. And every time I see that, it just puts me in a good mood. It's like, people are happy. They're enjoying simple things in life. They're riding their bike. The weather's nice. And I think it makes a difference when something enjoyable first thing in the morning can dictate your mood. And it does. When I see them in the morning and they wave to me, I don't know them, but I see them. They wave, they're pleasant, and it's just so cute. And it's as opposed to seeing, I don't know, it's like a homeless person, which I hate to see.
Naked bathing outside by the bus stop, which I've seen in my neighborhood, but what?
Who?
Huh?
What'd you say?
Ventura and Coldwater. One morning on a Sunday, I saw a naked man bathing himself at the little bus, that little cover they have at the bus stop?
Yes.
And I was able to record just enough of it that I put it on my Instagram story with the theme song, Easy Like Sunday Morning.
Oh my God.
It was Sunday morning and it did well. A lot of people like seeing that. But that's my neighborhood versus you. Chrissy, I don't mean to interrupt. You just painted a beautiful scene. I loved it.
That's what I'm saying. See, it put you in a good mood, right? That's what I mean. It's a visual.
You're like melting my vent rage.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Sorry.
That's like so
I gotta
sweet.
Get you fired
No,
back.
it's so sweet. Don't worry. I'll be pissed off again tomorrow. You see how even you painted a beautiful picture and I took it to something disgusting of a very large, fat homeless man, which doesn't even make sense. And he was naked, almost like an Irish Spring commercial. Remember when they used to like pretend they were bathing because the bar of soap was the shower head and they'd be bathing in public? It was like that. Something wrong with me as a person, but not your neighborhood. You sound like you live in a beautiful place.
Well, wait, Paul.
What?
How long did that guy last naked on the street? I mean, that's so disgusting.
Well, how long did I last? What do you think? I parked the car?
Well, you took a video for Christ's sake.
In passing. From a red light. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a total voyeur. I didn't go up and interview the guy. I didn't go home and get a microphone and, hey, take my clothes off next to him, ask him if he'd pass the soap. But for another time, it does remind me, one time I did take a shower with my dad's mechanic, but that's to be discussed at another time. We don't even have to.
We're not going there now, Paul. Save that. No.
Good mechanic.
No. Okay. Loretta, please save us. Hit it, girl.
I'm in graduate school getting my MBA, and this glorious Ivy League institution is a hotbed for smart women. I met this hot math wizard and we hit it off. Lucky me. The sex is out of control good.
Ooh.
After about 10 dates, she decides to get a tongue and nipple ring, and man, I think it's ugly in both places. She didn't tell me she was getting them until she laughed out loud, and I noticed it in her mouth. I thought she would have asked me if it was okay, but she didn't. I tried to make it work, but no way. Those nipple rings get in the way, and what if they get infected? She refuses to take them off, so I broke up with her. Some chicks are really strange. Signed, Ivy Liga.
I don't know. You broke up over this? All right. I had my nipples pierced.
What?
I did.
Are you going to show us? Please don't.
Well, no, I don't have them anymore. I'm a grown adult. But I did have my nipples pierced. I went to a what turned out to be like a drug fest in Vermont when I was like 19 or 20, and I was tripping on acid. And this woman was doing piercings on the back of her station wagon when we were all out in this field where thousands of people were just doing drugs in this field. And I was like, hey, you know what? Because I was a fat kid growing up. I was in pretty good shape. I thought it would help me to get really toned. I thought if I like pierced my nipple, then it would make me like give me like a goal to really get that like ripped, that it was tight. And that's not what it was about. It's actually very sexual in nature. But
Okay.
when I realized that a girl, I was driving my car. Oh, you want the full story? I got it. It would motivate me to get in better shape. I drove a convertible. That week, I go back to my hometown in New Hampshire. It's the summertime. This girl jumps in the back who I knew not well. And I told her I got my nipple pierced. She goes, no way, let me see. I show her while I'm driving through downtown. She goes, can I suck on it? I said, what the hell? What the hell? I didn't even know that was what it was for. I said, yeah, sure, I guess. She did. And I was like, oh, it was unbelievable. The stimulation it opened up was unbelievable. I got the other one pierced the next day.
Oh,
The next day. So what I'm saying is, this guy had a girl who might be far more exciting than he's ready for. I bet this guy falls off the mechanical bull pretty damn quick at the bar. I bet he does. I bet this guy, you know what? I think he should get a better grip. And I think he could have had a lot more fun with this girl. I think he blew it.
Paul, why'd you take them off if they were so stimulating?
I mean, just after a while, it's not as stimulating. I had them for a few years, but they would get caught on sweaters sometimes. I would get drunk at parties and I would hang my keys from them because I had my keys on a little lanyard clip, like a carabiner. And so I'd get drunk at parties and I'd, swing my, it was pretty funny. It was wild stuff. And I also enjoyed that I've always looked like a pretty clean cut white boy from New Hampshire. So I loved the reaction when people would see me smoke a cigarette and they're like, what the hell you smoke? And I'm like, I love that you don't think I do. And then to have those piercings, people totally lost their mind. It's like when people see my bitch tattoo on my arm, they're like, we can't believe that's there. It's kind of fun. But yeah, I just outgrew it. I was like 20 when I got them. I was probably 24 when I pulled them out.
You're like, you mentioned this once before, Superman and Clark Kent. You look like this white, clean cut guy, and then suddenly this nipple ring is hanging off and you've got a bitch tattoo. They're like, that's Paul? That's the alter ego of Paul. This
Interesting.
Badass sex maniac. I took it too far. Sorry.
Badass sex. No, hey. I was in my 20s. I was having a good time.
The thing is, when you said it got caught on things, that to me would be a red flag. Why would you have a nipple ring when you know for a woman it's going to probably hurt when you put a bra on? I don't know. I never had that.
See, that's the thing. Okay, so it would get caught on something like a loose knit sweater if I didn't wear an undershirt. But I always wore an undershirt. I've always been an undershirt guy. So the undershirt keeps it from getting caught. And exactly what you're saying. If a woman's wearing a bra, it's not going to get caught on anything. Even if she's wearing a t-shirt, it's not going to get caught on anything. It's only if you were to go completely commando, titty free, no bra, and a loose knit sweater, then sure, maybe. It's more, I could see where this guy, look, if she comes out of nowhere and she's got the nipple ring and the tongue ring, I never get a tongue ring. I thought that was disturbing. I didn't judge you as a person, but it's just a little too visible. I like to keep my surprises, under wraps until it's time.
But
The tongue ring it's a little forward. Everybody sees it. I don't think
I
it's
don't
exciting.
get the appeal to a tongue ring. It's like when you eat, doesn't it get in the way? When you close your
Sure.
mouth, it's like, what's the point of
People
it?
break their teeth on them all the time. I took that to be, it was supposed to be a little more exciting during fellation.
Okay, we don't need
That's
to go there.
in which case, again, I hope he at least got to experience said, heightened, protocol. But I don't know. I think because I did notice this guy signed off with something to do with Ivy League. He's in an Ivy League. You got to be really into books to get into Ivy League. A lot of these people aren't also cool and nerdish. I think this guy might just be a little square. I think he had himself a girl. A lot of these girls in like Ivy Leagues, they're nerds. They do this wild shit. They'll dye their hair. They'll get something pierced because they want to feel like what's their wild side. They don't really know how to manage it, so they go a little nuts. But I mean, you're in college. You're in college. People are trying shit out. You
I know,
dumped
but
a girl because she's like trying to be a little wild.
you can't fault the guy if the tongue ring interferes with kissing or whatever. If he can't, I mean, can you actually remove it yourself, or do you have
Yeah.
to? You can take it
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah,
yourself.
yeah. It's threaded,
Okay.
and you just pull it out. I didn't even know people were still doing it. I grew up, what I mean, I was a teenager in the '90s. I don't know, like I thought that was gone, with like Jenko jeans and like
Yeah.
like I thought that came and went. I didn't know that was still a popular thing.
I don't know if it's popular. I've seen people, and I don't get it. It's
You
like,
just
how do you
judge them.
chew?
Oh no, yeah, you just come on. The way I look at it is, you only get one tongue. Why would you risk damaging your tongue? Are you nuts? It's like guys who get piercings down below. You only get one of those too. You blow that, you got a long life to live, brother. Time flies when you're having fun, and it's pretty slow when you're not. You mess that thing up, buddy. You just extended your sentence by 1,000 years.
Wait, Paul, I seriously, I don't want to really get into it, but I'm just
Yeah.
asking. You're saying people get rings put on that expendage? Is that what you're saying? Appendage, I'm sorry.
You didn't know that? It's called a Prince Albert, a PA, a Prince Albert. It's when they put a rod through it, Chrissy, a rod
Oh
through it.
God.
The same way they pierce the tongue with that bar, guys have put a rod through that, and I don't know. I mean, that would
No.
seem like medieval torture to me. That
Yeah,
would seem
totally.
like beyond Guantanamo. I would rather
Yeah.
be waterboarded, and people were doing it voluntarily and paying to have it done. Of course, so. I don't know. We live in a weird world. And I get, if this guy, if he's looking for a classy girl and he doesn't want to date a girl, maybe she's got a whole bunch of other personality kind of kinks that are a little too much. I get that. I get that. But I mean, I
Yeah.
just hope that he let her express herself a few times before and have some fun and, before you part ways. It sounds like a wild chick.
I
She
don't
probably
know.
didn't lay there and, starfish, as we guys like to say.
Okay, we don't. Okay.
It just means when the girl just lays there.
I
just,
know.
you know
I
what mean?
know,
I
Paul.
don't think she was a starfish.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway. So you said you had a nice neighborhood with 80-year-olds who ride.
Yeah, nice, Paul. Let's just segue back
I
into
don't
that.
think this girl had a little Maltese in her basket. I think she's a wild thing. Maybe one day she'll imagine those 80-year-olds in your neighborhood. We go to talk to them one day and we find out they used to have, what if they have
Yeah,
piercings?
what if they
like
still
that?
have a tongue
Imagine they
ring?
do. Yeah, they hang from them. And just weird shit. They get a dungeon. That's why they're all happy.
Okay, don't ruin my image of my bike rider friends.
You're not going to be able to think of them without nipple piercings moving forward. You know that, right?
Okay, enough of the. I think we wrung that out, or I can't think of a good close to that. But anyway,
Yeah. Yeah, I can see both sides of where he's coming from. Sure.
Yeah.
Probably not going to marry that one. I'll give him that. You're probably not going to marry that girl.
yeah, that Ventthor is not going to marry.
You're not going to marry her.
the nipple ring lady. All right,
No.
should we move on to the next vent? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
How can anyone think picking your teeth in a public place is
Oh.
okay? I was sitting across from this guy in a very upscale restaurant, and he was picking his teeth for so long, I swear he thought he would find gold. He was directly in my view. To make matters worse, he would examine the toothpick and then set it on his plate. I had to move my chair so my wife's head would block my view. If she bent down to chew, I had to close my eyes. I tell you, Americans need etiquette training. Signed, Mr. Manners.
That's disgusting. I'm sorry. I don't care if you're who's a major celebrity right now. Brad
Nobody.
Pitt.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
it doesn't matter. You put a toothpick in your mouth and you start cleaning your teeth, it is over for me. Absolutely over. It's disgusting, and it it's I don't know what to say about it. Just
It's
stop.
vile.
Put
It's
the thing
vile.
down. Don't do it. I'm with
Chris,
you,
you got the
Spencer.
flying hand on that. You got the flying hand. You were coming in with the chop.
Yeah.
You were getting that. That struck a nerve. I agree, Chrissy. I agree. I'll say, maybe I'll give you like the cool hand, Luke. Like I think Ryan Gosling was doing it for a while. Like if you get a toothpick that you kind of chew on socially, if you're that particular kind of, man of the road, if you will, fine. But if you're actually using it to pick your tooth, you're vile scum. You're
Exactly.
disgusting. I just in the description, I couldn't help, not that it should have distracted, but it did. When he said, he used his wife's head to prevent him from seeing it. Good use of your environment. Excellent. And at no cost to her, because this was behind her, I would take it. So it's great. She was collateral, use. But he said, except when she would when she would lean down and take a bite. Do heads move that far when they eat? How far down does she bring her
You mean
face?
like this, Paul?
Like Chrissy?
Like that? Well, no, I mean to eat something. That's what you meant, right?
Did I just love that motion? Yes, most of us bring, I don't know, a utensil to our
Like
mouth
this.
from the food, and
Yeah,
like she's just bound like a dog with like a horse with an oat bag or something. What? How much motion does his wife have silverware?
Yeah,
Does he
exactly.
let
I'm
her?
with you.
That was kind of weird.
It was
I couldn't
weird.
help but wonder.
Like I'm sitting here eating, right? I pretend this is a fork. I know people who are listening can't see. I go like this, right? I'm put the fork to my mouth.
Yeah,
I don't.
I'll give you an inch or two.
Yeah.
An inch or two of lean, maybe
Yeah,
just
a
a little.
lean, like an
A little.
inch. Yeah. But I'm not going to stick my head like an inch or two above my plate to eat
Who is
something.
his wife?
What?
Who is his wife? I don't know. Yeah, that was an odd distraction from his vent. Which I kind of now I want to see a video of his wife eating. I'm really
Yeah.
curious at this point. If you could send us a video of that, we
Yeah.
would watch it and give you our thoughts. But yeah, no, you know what? I would say tooth picking is up there. It's on par with nail clipping in
Oh,
public.
yeah.
I used to live in New York City. I'd ride the subway, loved it because you see all kinds of weird and exciting and mostly weird things. And what are you doing there, Chris?
I just took a little tea. Sorry.
But in fairness, you did lean right down.
Well, that's because I didn't want to bring the cup into the camera.
You know what, though? If there was a man cleaning his teeth behind you, I might have seen him. Damn it. You might have just been the people's exhibit A for our venter. Shit. Maybe we're not so, maybe we're the weird ones. He might be right. But yeah, people used to clip their nails on the subway. And it takes, sometimes
it.
I just tell people when they're being socially broken, I'll just say, hey, for real?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah. Like I do it, like I would do it when I'm getting off the train. I don't actually want to get into some shit. The other day I was walking with Chelsea and our baby and our neighbor. We ran into our neighbor walking through the neighborhood. We live in a nice neighborhood. And we're walking, and then this Amazon guy is walking back to his van in between deliveries, and he just hacks up this deep, like a loud hack. And I'm like, did he not see us? He looks right at me and then gets it, and then he spits it out, looking right at us.
No.
And I say to the guy, I go, hey, seriously, come on. And then the neighbor looks at me like, why did I have to start confrontation? And I go, well, you know what? Because you got to have a certain level of decorum in society. And yes, like someone, at least this guy, he has probably no self-respect. He probably comes from a shitty neighborhood and a shitty home and whatever. And maybe he sees we look kind of, Ken and Barbie with our baby and the carriage, and life's too good. It's a weekday in the middle of the day. And, he probably feels like, oh, we have a better life. And he probably feels embarrassed. I like to play psychologist. Maybe he feels small, so he acted small. I figure I gave him enough decency to let him know that no, it is expected. You should carry yourself better than that. If I just
100%.
let it go like it was nothing, then it would have made sense that someone that low would carry themselves so low and it would reinforce his mindset. No, I said to him, dude, hey, seriously, get a hold of yourself. And I thought it was a compliment to him. Not a compliment, but you know what I mean? It's
I
like,
know what you're saying. And I agree with you. People should have, and that's common sense.
don't be
You don't
disgusting.
pull up a loogie and spit it
A
out.
loogie.
Remember that?
He was representing Amazon sound
Oh,
engineer Gary. So
nice,
yeah, it
Gary.
really does feel that way sometimes. It really does. And
And
Chelsea, my neighbor was like, well, what if he, pull out a gun or something? I'm like, well, we know where he works. I don't think he's going to pull out a gun. I probably wouldn't say it to just, if he had no uniform and no association with a company, then I probably wouldn't, because I'm like, this guy could be totally nuts.
Yeah.
But, he's in a uniform and he's working. But yeah, in fairness, he could have shot me. I never know. Maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
And you know what else pisses me off?
do
And
you
they
got?
think this is okay in a restaurant. Pretend
Right.
I'm holding a knife. Pretend
Yeah.
this pen is a knife. And they
Sure.
go and they show their teeth and they're like, oh, I gotta clean my teeth because they're
Oh,
looking into the
God.
knife like it's a mirror and they
Oh.
think that's okay.
Like a cave
Really?
person who just discovered reflection, like Jesus. Like they probably think they're like MacGyver. They probably think they're pretty slick to use the knife as a mirror. They're like, oh, if I'm slick enough to figure this out, then I should use the opportunity to show people that I figured it out. No, you're gross. You're vile.
Yeah, you're disgusting. And
Disgusting.
this Ventthor, we agree with you. Gold tooth picker and spitter and
Gross.
everything else. Just
Yeah.
get some etiquette.
Send us pics. Send us pics.
Well, send it to Paul. I don't wanna
the
see it.
Vent Force. Join the Vent Force. Send us the pic. Tag us. Tag us on Instagram.
Yeah,
We'll put it on our page.
for sure.
We will.
Ventville. Be a part of our Ventville.
Ventville. Join the Vent community.
Yeah, exactly.
Ride the Vent.
So
All right.
do we do the
So
next
we got one more? We
Yeah,
got
we
one
got
more.
one more.
All right.
I have 3 kids, ages 11, 13, 16, okay? My daughter's friends come over and first go to her room, and after a few minutes, the friends come into the kitchen and raid the refrigerator. They don't ask me or my wife if it's okay. They take out a drink, some snacks, and go back to my daughter's room. Mind you, all this is done without my daughter. These kids just come over and raid my food. I told my wife I'm putting a chain on the fridge door to give them a hint, but my wife thinks that's wrong. Is this the norm these days? Signed, Chained Refrigerator.
I like
This
that
is
people
tough.
are signing their vents. What, Paul?
I do like that they're doing that. I think this is tough, Chrissy. What do you think? I'm kind of divided. I see two sides to this.
I mean, why can't you just tell your daughter, Susie, I'll bring snacks to your room if they're hungry, but I don't like the fact that they just, as if they own the house, come into our kitchen, open
Yeah.
the refrigerator, and take food. I don't
Yeah.
like it. And I hope that you don't do that when you go to their house because it's very rude. It's just not respectful. I mean, I'd have a discussion.
I'll tell you, his daughter doesn't do that when she goes to their house. You know why?
Why?
Because she's meek. His daughter's meek. These girls, the daughter is part. The snacks are part of what keeps her having friends, and it's sad. I feel horrible. My first reaction was to this Ventthor: you're poor. You're poor. If you can't afford snacks for kids, you can't afford some Cheez-Its and a goddamn Gatorade, you're broke. But I do also get, I don't like people going through my food, unless I tell them it's fine. But the key, and he did make sure to point out, the key is the daughter isn't with them. The daughter isn't with them. These kids come over, they have no respect. They go and they treat her home in a way that she doesn't even treat it herself. She's the tail end of this friend chain, and she's just holding on. You know how important popularity is when you're a kid? You know how important it is to have friends and to be part of a clique of some kind, a crew? I think his daughter is timid. I think she probably doesn't have a lot of confidence, and I think she's willing to let her parents' cabinet be part of what keeps these girls interested in her. Because the girls, these are brutal. I'm sure he's pissed because these kids are rude. These kids are not raised well. Who goes to someone else's house and just raids snacks without the host? Without the host? These kids are garbage. And I hate to say kids are, I mean, it comes back to the parents. You can't really judge the kid when they're still a kid. They're learning. But these kids are not raised well.
I
But
agree
he's
with
at a
that.
real fork in the road. He's got to teach his daughter how to be more confident and more assertive socially and how to have more value in a social situation so people respect her. How do
Or she could go with them. She can open up a refrigerator door and say, "You guys want,
That's
a,
great.
a water or some whatever mom made."
You're right,
Go.
Chrissy.
Don't let them just go and, I mean, imagine you're the parents. You're in the kitchen, let's say, and you're doing something that's, you know, paying bills or
Yeah.
discussing about,
Yeah.
and these kids just walk in,
Fighting.
open. It's not good. So. Yeah.
No, you're right, Chrissy. You know what? Actually, you're right. And maybe this is part of where the daughter's lack of self-respect comes from. Is that the father's going to stand up and be like, hey, guys, listen, I love that you come over to the house. I'm a host. I'm a gentleman. I never want you to be hungry or thirsty in my home. Just let me know what I could get for you and I'll bring it to you. You let me know. And then it puts a certain level of pressure on them to accept that what they want and what they ask for, they have to let their host know. So if they're going to go in and just fill their pockets with all of his juicy fruits or whatever the hell, you know what I mean? Then like it's a little more awkward to have to say to your host, "Hey, you know what? I would love some crackers or something, and that is how it should be done." You're right. That's exactly how the host should do it. The daughter should come out and she should say, "Hey guys, grab a seat at the counter. I'll get us some snacks."
You know what we did in our house? My husband and I would go to my kids' room and say, "Hey, you guys, can I bring you something?"
Wonderful.
I mean, it's a no-brainer. I mean, this
Wonderful.
Venter can't figure that out. I mean, come on. But it's
He's
like
in an awkward
parenting one. What?
No, sorry.
No, parenting 101. Just, and just have a talk. But just, I would put my foot down and say, "You cannot come into my refrigerator. Just open it up." It's just not going to work.
We
That's
were
my
broke
two
when I was
cents.
growing up. We were poor as shit. We didn't have snacks. I didn't have people over. Our house was a wreck. It was not, it was like physically in disarray, like the walls weren't complete and like cabinets weren't where they belong. Like it was, I mean, we lived in a real shithole growing up. So I was
Well,
never gonna have people over there. Just being
that
honest.
explains a lot now. Thank you
Does.
for
It does.
enlightening us.
We were broke as hell. My mom took a cabinet off the wall and turned it into a counter with plywood on top. Like, I mean, it was real bullshit the way we lived. So we definitely didn't have like snacks that were fun, even for us. Certainly not to supply the neighborhood. We weren't having anyone inside. But I did have a buddy who lived down the street, and his family was very well off. They had a beautiful home, and we would go after school into his kitchen, and they had the best snacks. But
Oh, okay.
timidly, I would have snacks with him, and I enjoyed them. I would never, ever in our wildest, like go up to his room. We'd be hanging out, doing homework, talking about girls, whatever, and just be like, "Hey, I'm going to run down to your kitchen and just ransack that shit." Are
No.
you nuts? Are
Right.
you never in your wildest? I wouldn't have
Right.
felt comfortable doing it. I wouldn't have done it even if I didn't think they would have been comfortable with me doing it. It just
Right.
would, no, no. And because I had respect for the home, I had respect for the family,
Yeah. Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
you said, the daughter, 100%. The daughter needs to be with them, and she's the one who gets it out.
Yeah.
Maybe leave the Cheez-Its on the counter. Have more and
Or
more if you want.
wait,
I'll put the Cheez-Its out, and then you take as many as you like.
wait,
But
Paul. You put something disgusting in the refrigerator just as a joke.
like a dead
you know
rat?
what huh?
What?
Put something disgusting in there. They open the refrigerator and there's like dog food or a fake head, something,
Okay. What about a real head?
yeah,
We're with you. We're
yeah,
frustrated on your behalf, but we will
yeah,
also nudge. You're going to have to be the change in this situation, sir
yeah,
or ma'am. And we're with you on it. If you have questions on how to go about it, reach out because
yeah,
we're pissed. We're pissed on
yeah.
your behalf, but we are going to push you to be the change. So you let us know. And then
All
if you're not
right.
going to change anything, give us your address. We love snacks too. We'll come eat all your shit. We'll get there before the kids. You want to make sure those kids don't have anything to eat? We'll show up first. It's like when the Russians burned down their own towns before the Nazis could get there.
All right. It's comment time.
Anyway,
Here we go.
that gets serious.
Oh, oh my goodness, this is long. I recently got into Ventthis and it's a hoot. The one about the front or back pulled toilet paper, and I thought it was very funny. Oh, we did a vent about do you put your toilet? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm 92 and have 24 grandchildren, so I asked everyone which they like better, pulled from the back or front. Turns out our young people like the toilet paper pulled from the back, while older folk like it pulled from the front. My 8-year-old grandson said it's more fun to pull from the back and see it unravel because his mom doesn't notice it right away.
You see?
There you have it. Okay, that's cute.
This might be my favorite comment. There's
That's
so
cute.
much here. We have a 92-year-old listener who loves what we do, called it a hoot, which is awesome by itself. I love that someone called this a hoot. But
Yeah.
92 loved our content so much she shared it with 24 grandkids. She or he, I guess, I don't know, but 24 grandkids. That means 25 people were in on this conversation, maybe even the parents in
Yeah.
one household.
Wow.
What a win. I'm going to sleep better
It's a
tonight.
win. I'm
I
with
think
you.
it's a win. And I do think there's something to be said. How interesting, because I always thought it was male female, but she's getting into an age separation here where younger people who is, I think, continually over time, older people always think younger people know nothing. And a lot of times it's in our heads, but a lot of times it's true. And this is an example of it being true because I stand firm. Toilet paper tears from the front. And when you hear the kid saying his reason for pulling it from the back was to be ridiculously wasteful and see it stream through the air. There you go.
By the
From
way,
the front it is. From the front it is.
I like the back. That's
Oh,
mine.
good, because you're a woman. That's right. There's no slam in that. There's no slam. It's just, you have no choice, Chrissy. You have no choice. Of course you have to like it from the back
Why?
because you're a woman.
Oh, what? How does? Okay, I'm gonna hold that thought because I need to go into that because that's nuts.
Well, remember, I was saying that was my whole hypothesis. Anytime I do it as stand up, anytime I do it on stage, and I pull that out, the women all agree they think it's best pulled from the back, and the men all agree it's best pulled from the front.
Okay.
So it's not a sexist thing. It just is what it is. I mean,
All right.
Yeah.
I totally don't get it, but here's comment number 2. But that's our Paul.
genetics. Sure.
Okay. I sat next to some girl on the train who was doing her nails, and man, does that crap stink.
Yeah.
I coughed the entire ride.
Oh.
Whoever wrote that in that vent, thank you. I'm grateful because maybe just now ladies won't do it. Totally agree. You don't put, we had that vent, right? You
Yeah.
don't put nail polish in an enclosed area with a bunch of people. No, not
It's
working.
just a jerk. But it's right
Yeah.
up there. It's funny that comment was on this thread today because it's up there with the tooth picking
Yeah.
and the nail clipping.
Yeah.
It's all in the same. Totally agree.
Okay, comment number 3 and our last comment. I think Ventthis is a sexy podcast
Love
because
it.
you have a lot of vents about sex, and I'm learning so much. Thanks for the
Yeah.
education. Okay.
This is a tantric vents. That's what we do. That's what we're here to do. We help you blow off steam and pop off whatever else is that you need. That's
All right, it's time to wrap this up. It was
things just
great.
went south.
I'm signing off now. Bye, Paul.
Good idea. I'm out of here too. Noodles.